Are you having trouble with product research and having a difficult time trying to find a product in Jungle Scout? Well, you're probably making two of the big mistakes that I'm seeing everybody make. And today, I'm going to help you fix it. Stick around. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, thanks for joining. I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm actually up in Canada right now visiting some family, and I thought I'd take a few minutes to address a problem that I've been seeing a lot of the students that I've been coaching have, and that's not using Jungle Scout properly during product research. So let's get started. All right, the first problem that I see is people aren't planning their strategy before they start their product research. What do I mean by that? I mean they're not taking a pen and a piece of paper and writing down what their goal is every month. What you need to do is first figure out how much profit you want to make every month, realistically. All right. Most people are going to say, I want to make around $3,000 every month to make it worthwhile. All right. So go get a pen and piece of paper and write it down. Go. Get a pen and a piece of paper. Okay. So let's just say $3,000 is your profit that you want to make every month. Write down $3,000. Now, what does that mean? Okay. With that figure, that means you can break it down further and figure out how much money you need to make every day. All right. So $3,000 a month divided by 30 is $100 every day. All right. So you need to make $3,000 a month or $100 a day to make it worth your while. Okay. So now you have a starting point, $100 a day. How does that help you? When you're doing product research, you can now set filters and figure out, depending on your profit margin per unit is, you can aim for how many units you need to sell every day to achieve that $100 a day. So for example, if you have a $10 profit margin on your product, then you need to sell 10 units every day to make $100, right? If you have a $20 profit margin, then you only need to sell 5 units every day. Okay, and so on. That should make sense. Now, why this is important is because a lot of people are forgetting this fundamental fact. The whole reason you're doing this is to make profit. Okay, you can't just aimlessly fly by the seat of your pants trying to make money. You need to have a goal and set a target. That's why you want to write it down. If you want to be successful, write down your goals. Okay, so you can see them. All right, so $10 profit margin means you need 10 units a day. Okay, so now in Jungle Scout, you'll be able to set those settings, filters in there for a minimum of 10 units a day, which translates to 300 units a month. You need a product that moves at least 300 units a month that has a profit margin of at least $10, and that'll get you your $3,000 a month. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's problem number one. You need to figure out how much profit you want to make per month, and that'll tell you how much you need to make per day. And then you need to figure out how much profit you want to make per unit, and that'll tell you how many units you need to sell per day. And it's so important that you figure this out, all of it, before you do product research. Okay, and that's what everybody seems to forget or don't even bother to do. Figure that out, write it down so you know exactly what those numbers are before you even start your product research. And it's so important that you do this. Okay, so what do those numbers mean and how are they going to help you? All right, so let's look at an actual example here. Let's look at lockpick sets. All right, now for those of you that are new, I use the Jungle Scout product suite for my product research. I'll leave a link to the software in the description below. And in this video, I'm talking specifically about the Chrome extension. And I'm not actually going to get into the specifics of product research using the web app and the Chrome extension. I'll leave that for another video. Today, I'm just going to talk about the two issues that I see people have and how you're going to fix these, okay? And that'll help you with your product research and be successful with it. Okay, so with lockpick sets, let's pull up the Jungle Scout data screen. Okay, and you'll see here that the price is really good, right? Because the price here is easily over $15. Now, why is $15 important? $15 is important because you need to make enough profit on top of all the fees and the cost of your product, all right? So Amazon referral fee is 15% or $1 of your sale price, whichever is higher, plus their handling fee, which is dependent on the size and weight of your unit. Okay, so on average, let's just say it's going to be about $5. Okay, and then your unit cost shipped from China is probably going to be around $5 too. So those combined is $10 already. So if you sell a product at retail for around $10, you're not making any money. Okay, that's so important. If you sell your product anything less than $15, there's not enough profit there to even make it worth your while. All right, for me, I want to at least make $5 per unit. That's why I have a hard set number of $15 there. All right, and I think this is where a lot of people are forgetting. We're not planning ahead of time to know the numbers and have them written down so they have a specific target to shoot for. Okay, so it's important that you know that, let's just say we're aiming for $100 a day, that if I'm able to sell my product at $15 and make a $5 profit per unit, I need to sell 20 units a day. 5 times 20 is $100. Now, if I'm able to differentiate and add value to the product and sell it for $20 a unit, well, now I've increased my profit margin to $10. Now I only need to sell 10 units today. $10 times 10 units is $100. All right, it's very simple math. And in order for you to calculate that really easily, you need to figure out your targets for each day, right? Do you understand why it's so important to have these figured out ahead of time now? Because every day I get dozens and dozens of people emailing me or PMing me their Jungle Scout screenshots, and the prices are right around $10 or sometimes even less. And it just doesn't make any sense to even enter that niche at $10 because there's no profit there. You're just basically giving the money away for doing all this work. So how do I know that I can sell this for at least $15? Well, I'm going to look at this price column here. And generally, I'm going to look at the entire list of 14 products or sellers that are here and get an average baseline of what they're selling for. Right? Now, make sure you throw out the ones that don't apply. So there's sometimes outliers here. There's products here that aren't in the niche, but they show up on this list. Let's see here. I think there's let's see. I think yeah, like this one here. It's a manicuring kit. It's not a lockpick set. So you can click the X here to get rid of it. Okay. So let's just look at the top 10, for example. All right. We have $33, $20. Here's a low one for $8, and then $18, another low one. And then $29, $20, $25, $35. So if I took an average of all these, you can see that the average of these is easily over $15. So that means if I was selling the same product, I could price it at $15 minimum. And then if I differentiated, like if I bundled it or made improvements to it, I can probably sell it for more. Okay, now you would have to do some research here and figure out why this guy's able to sell it for $33 and this guy's able to sell it for $35 and still have huge sales over here. Look, this guy's got 782, 26,000 in revenue a month. And this guy's $7,500 in revenue every month. Do a little bit of research and figure out why they're able to charge a premium and still move that many units and generate that revenue, and see if you can do better. Okay. But I want to mention here, make sure you don't do lockpick sets. Do not do lockpick sets. This is a gated category and you can't sell them. So don't go and order a bunch from China and try to move these. You'll get blocked. Your listing will get removed. Do not sell lockpick sets. Okay, so one more time, go down the price column here and you can determine if it's at least $15 by taking an average. Take an average of like the top 10 or more and see if the average of those numbers is at least $15. Okay, if the majority of them are less than $15, then there's not enough profit margin there. Okay, so I would just skip it, or unless you think you can differentiate and bundle something in there to raise that profit margin up. Otherwise, I would just move on to another product. All right, I'll just take a minute here before we move on to the second half. I want to leave a link here to a YouTube card to a previous video that I made explaining the difference between how and why. And what's happening is I get a lot of people asking me how questions on how to do something. All right, and that's not the right question to ask if you want to be successful. You don't want to be asking how to do something. You need to be asking why to do. You need to be asking why questions. All right, why is the mentor doing this, and why is the mentor not doing that? If you keep asking how questions, you're only going to be mimicking the actions of your mentor. Okay, you'll never be able to go off and do it on your own. Until you understand why something is being done, you're never going to be successful. Okay, so I hope you appreciate that in my videos, I'm showing you how to do something, but I'm also explaining to you why I'm doing something. And that way you can understand the reasoning behind everything so that you can go off and do it on your own. Okay, now if you don't understand what I'm saying, rewind it a minute and listen to what I just said again. And I hope you understand the fundamental difference between a how question and a why question. Okay, don't ask how questions, ask why questions. All right, let's move on. All right, the second problem. People are not analyzing the Jungle Scout data correctly. All right, now I already went over this price column right here and why it's so important to have an average of $15 as a minimum so that you can generate enough profits to make it worth your time, right? I hope I made that clear. Now moving on, there's two other columns that are equally as important, the sales column and the reviews column. The sales column is important because you need to have enough sales every month to be able to make the $3,000 that you're shooting for. When you use the 3,000, we're going to stick to that as the example. All right. And here's the simple math. And that's why it's so important to have these numbers figured out ahead of time. If $3,000 is your target every month, and you're selling them and making $10 per unit, and you're selling 10 units per day, well, how many units do you sell per month? Well, if you're selling 10 units a day times 30 days, you need to sell at least 300 units a month. So you got to look for a niche where the products are moving a minimum of 300 units, right? So if you look at the sales column here, you want the average, the majority of these to be 300 or higher, okay? So if you see here, this one's 782, 525, 195, right? And then these drop below, right? 100, 179, 107, and down the line. Okay, so if you look at these at a glance, you should be able to see if all of these, like let's just say 7 or 8 out of the 10 are over 300, then you can be pretty confident that you can sell yours for you can sell at least 200 units yourself. Okay, but you can see here that the majority of these are actually less than 300. Let's just count them up. In the top 10 or 12 here, we have one that's less than 300. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 out of the top 10 are less than 300. So chances are you're not going to sell 300 units. Okay, and that's not a bad thing. It just means you need to increase the profit margin from $10. So if you could sell it for $15 a unit, then you only need to sell 200 units a month. Does that make sense? All right, so now move on to the reviews. Why is the reviews important? Reviews shows how competitive the market is. The more reviews there are, the harder it is for you to get onto the first page and rank, right? It shows that there's buyers that are going to be more devoted to buying these other products because they have higher reviews, all right? And you're going to enter with far less. So you want reviews to have a maximum of 50 to 75. Okay, so let's just stick with a number. Let's just say 75 is an upper limit. So you want to look at this reviews column and see that the majority out of the top 10 or so have less than 75. And so let's count them up. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So almost all of these are less than 75. What does that mean? That means in this niche with the lockpick sets, there's not much competition here. Okay, now if the majority were over 75, then that niche is too competitive and I wouldn't enter it. All right, so now that you've analyzed each of these three columns, you should be able to assign a pass or a fail for each column. All right, does the price pass? Does the sales pass? And does the reviews pass? Okay, you should have specific numbers for each column, and it should be a black or white. Does it pass or not? And for this product to move on to the product tracking phase, it needs to pass all three of these criteria that you set out. All three, the price, the sales, and the reviews. Okay, and I think this is where people are getting hung up, because I keep getting these Jungle Scout screenshots where only two or one of the three pass. It's either because they're too anxious to find a product, or they're ignoring their criteria they set out, or they didn't even set the targets out in the beginning. Okay, that's why it's so important to have these numbers figured out ahead of time, so you know exactly what to look for when you're looking at each new product. Okay, pass or fail. All three need to pass to move on to the product tracking phase. Now, I hope I explained this to you well enough that you understand why you're looking for certain things in each column. And once you understand the reason why, you'll be able to tweak each of the columns and targets a little bit to suit your own individual needs. All right, I hope that makes sense. All right, so now let's take a look at some real life examples that the people that I've been coaching have sent me. And this is my Amazon Beginner Mastery group on Facebook. You feel free to join it. I coach people in the group. I'll leave a link for it in the description below. And let's come over here and take a look at some of the examples people have sent for my review. Okay, so let's look at this one. So you can see here, for example, we're still shooting for the $3,000 a month profit and 300 sales per month. You can see here the sales is awesome on this one. All right, you can see the majority of these are well over 300. I would say the average of this entire list is probably 400 or 500 units a month that they're selling. Okay, and the reviews are stellar as well. Easily, majority of them are under 75. Actually, the majority of them are under 50. Okay, the problem here is I don't know what the price is. The person here, Conrad, cropped it off. But this looks actually like a really good product. And you can see here that I said it looks good. Okay, let's look at the next one. Okay, so this one, you'll see that the price is decent. Okay, the price here is, it kind of falls off down here. And you can probably sell it for around $15, $20. Not bad. But the big problem here is the sales. Look at this column here. Less than 5. Less than 5. That means there's no volume here. All of these sellers are selling 1 or 2 units a month. Okay, so it doesn't even matter their reviews or what the price is. Pass on this one. I wouldn't even look at it. Okay, let's look at another one. All right, now this one, the price looks pretty good. Okay, you can probably sell this one for a minimum of $15 because you can see the average of all of these. There's 32, 25, 15, 60. So you can probably sell for around $15 to $20 by looking at this at a glance. And the sales here, though, is sporadic. What does that mean? It means it's kind of all over the place. It's up and down, up and down. Some people are doing well, other people are not. Like this guy doing well, doing good. This guy's not too well. So it's kind of up and down, up and down. That means this market isn't stable. So if it's not stable, then who knows how yours is going to do, right? So it doesn't matter with the reviews, the market's not stable. You want to see consistent sales, consistent all the way through. This one is sporadic. I would pass on it. Okay, this one's in the UK market, so let's skip that one. And let's look at this one here. The price here, again, this one's actually really good. You can see the price is easily an average of probably $20 on this one. If you look up and down this column here, the average of all these is probably $20. Okay, now look at the sales. Sales up top here for the top 8 is actually not too bad, right? 1,700 here, 117, 154, 2,000. Okay, 800, another 2,600. But you can see here after the 8th, 9th, it drops, right? It drops. So again, this one's kind of sporadic as well, and you can see that the sales numbers drop here, and the reviews are just, there's way too many reviews here. Okay, so the competition's kind of high. You can see in the top 10, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people in the top 10 that have more than 75 reviews. So the if you're going to do a pass fail on all 3 of these columns, reviews fails, revenue is borderline, right? The sales is borderline. So again, you need a pass on all 3 of these. So I would skip this one. Okay, and here let's do a couple more. Okay, so this one is a UK one. Let's skip that. Here's one here. See, here's an example of one where the price is just too low, right? Look at this. The price here, 11, 9, 13. You know, out of the top 10 or 12, there's only 2 that are above $15. So I won't even touch this one. There's not enough profit here. Okay, doesn't matter what the sales is or the reviews, and even the reviews doesn't pass. If you look at the top 10, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 that are already over 75 reviews, right? So I won't even touch this one. Okay. All right, so yeah, I did a couple examples there. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I try to be as open and give you as much value as I can, and more importantly, explain to you why I take certain actions. And I hope you learn from that, and that you try to ask why questions and not so many how questions, so you can actually understand for yourself how to do something and why you're doing it, so that you can apply those strategies on your own. Okay, so I'll leave a link to the Jungle Scout software again in the description below. You can join my Facebook group where I coach all the members in there with their product research or any questions you have with FBA. There's a link to that below as well. And my mentor was Tanner J. Fox. I took his course. There's a link for that in the description as well. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time.